wants to throw it. Touchdown, Ohio State. Mariota, perfect strike, touchdown.
We are a day away of the College Football Playoff National Championship. Numero uno and Campus Insiders is covering it wall to wall for you. Bonnie Bernstein alongside former Buckeyes running backs great Beanie Wells, who's really going to be able to take us deep inside the program. Before we get to the game at hand, though, Beanie, Urban Meyer in the final press conference said he fully expects Braxton Miller to be back. I know you know him well. What's your thought on that?
I think it's a bold statement. Braxton is beloved by many of Ohio State fans and Ohio State alum. But, given the situation with Cardale and JT Barrett, him coming back, I see it as a challenge. And it's something that I don't foresee for the future.
A lot of people have talked about, particularly with the shoulder issue, him potentially changing positions when he goes to the NFL. Is that something you think he'd entertain doing his final year in college?
I don't think so. I think when you think about quarterbacks, you think of prideful guys who used to making the big plays, who don't really want to make that change. And I can't see Braxton making that change considering what he's done at Ohio State.
Where's the best fit for him?
If he was to leave Ohio State, I would possibly say Oregon. Oregon, Florida State, one of those schools who have two great quarterbacks leaving those programs.
Talk about an embarrassment of riches in Eugene if that goes down. All right, let's talk about the quarterback at hand. Everybody has been dumbfounded by this very quick evolution of a 22-year-old who at the start of the season was a third-string quarterback in Cardale Jones. What was it that you think turned the light on for a guy who had a reputation for not finishing a practice and not really being into the game?
Probably just getting an opportunity to play. I know early on in the season when he didn't get that starting job right out of camp.
When he lost to JT Barrett.
Yes,
yeah.
I think he kind of went in the tank. The consensus on the team was that he was the better quarterback. He had the better arm, but I think he lacked that leadership ability, and that didn't give Urban confidence going into the season with him as a starter.
What makes him special?
His arm. And I think guys rally around him because he's an infectious personality. He's a funny guy.
He's got a smile that just lights up.
A great big smile. And guys want to be around him. And when you got guys that want to be around your starting quarterback, it makes everything on that offense gel a lot smoother.
Accuracy an issue with him?
I think so. On some of his intermediate routes and his short passes. But, as you can see, he has one of the strongest arms in college football, and his deep ball is insane.
Devin Smith, his big play threat, wasn't at media days. The trainer said he had a respiratory issue, though he did practice. Based on the type of receiver he is, how much do you think not being 100% could come into play on Monday?
Well, the respiratory, I automatically think of lungs and, him running those deep routes downfield. It could be an issue. I don't think more so because we're inside. And if we were outside in these conditions, I'd really be worried. But I'm not going to be too worried because we're going to be inside in the warmth, so we won't have those that cold wind blowing through his lungs.
Yeah, that'll be good for him. From a defensive perspective, Urban Meyer said over and over that just simply because of the wear and tear of the season, some of the injuries, that the Buckeyes don't have great depth right now. When you think about the tempo, the pace at which Oregon runs, and the way the defense typically has been run throughout the season for Ohio State, how does that come into play?
It could be tough. We don't traditionally rotate a lot of guys up front, specifically on the defensive line. With this fast-paced offense, this up-tempo offense, it could leave our guys gassed out there. And I'm sure Urban and his staff have come to some common ground and figured out something to where they're going to have to rotate guys more so than they've done in the past.
Is that easy to do when you run as much base as they have throughout the season, to just sort of change the philosophy and say, okay, we got to be rotating, especially from a communication standpoint?
It's definitely not going to be easy at all. But, I think they're going to have to be up to this task because it is the national championship and you are playing an Oregon team who runs up and down the field. So you have to have fresh legs in there.
And still you have the confidence that the Buckeyes will win. Why?
Absolutely. I think Joey Bosa, Michael Bennett, Deron Lee, these guys are going to get after Marcus Mariota. He doesn't cause many turnovers. He doesn't throw many turnovers, but, they're going to force him to do so this game.
It'll be interesting to see, too, because while he doesn't love pressure, there's such a quick release there that Bosa's a beast, but he's got to get to him
Yes, absolutely.
first.
With his quick release, he reminds me of Kurt Warner, who was my quarterback in Arizona. He had one of the quickest releases in the NFL history. Marcus Mariota definitely has that trait.
Beanie Wells, great insight. Appreciate the time. The Buckeyes and the Ducks going at it in the inaugural College Football Playoff National Championship. Campus Insiders will be here to cover it all. Hope you'll join us.